Floyd speaks life. You gotta stay in the driver's seat of your life. You gotta command your life. You have to grab that steering wheel. Using God's your GPS. You gonna have to grab that steering wheel and take control of what you're doing. Take responsibility for your actions. Make yourself accountable. Give permission to the people around you to hold you accountable. God loves us. God loves us so much. He will send people around us to bless us, to show us how much He loves us, help guide us, help feed us. We gotta learn how to receive that love. We gotta stay healthy enough to receive that love, feed our good wolf, and know how to give it. Know how to stay in community. God loves us. God loves us. Speaks life.
Yes. What's up, y'all, man? Welcome to episode 4 of the J. Floyd Speaks Life podcast. This is the part where I come in and, we just chop it up a little bit, man. I love y'all. I welcome y'all back. Glad y'all are joining me, man. Just to fill you in on some things that I've been working on. I have a couple speaking engagements and things, but most importantly, man, Father's Day just passed. I really enjoyed myself. I was able to, for one, I recorded an episode of the show with my wife, man. So we talked about fathers and how our experiences with our fathers, affected us, our previous relationships, our approach to love and our approach to marriage and our own parenting. So we were able to hash that out, really dig into it. I think it's good that married couples sit down and have those kind of conversations. One of the things that I've learned in our 7 years of marriage, man, is, you gotta really sit down and really start to understand what your spouse has been through. Nothing is affecting your spouse more than, traumatic things in the past, the way they were raised. And we got to really dig into that, because if we don't, they come up anyway as, fears. And as we all know, fear is very rarely communicated clearly. Most of us, especially us men, man, we don't really say, I'm scared of ... It's usually going to come out in an unhealthy way. It's usually, some kind of anxiety, a mood swing, you know what I mean? Because we're scared that some kind of something that's going to happen is going, look a little bit like something that used to happen, something that happened to us before. So, I encourage people to have them conversations, man. Really, have a chatterbox moment. Really sit down and give each other 10, 15 minutes each real quick, where you just get to talk about what's on your mind, what you're scared of, what you're feeling, what you used to feel, what's changing, what's going on. Do your back hurt? You getting old? What's the deal? Because you're going through life together, man. So anybody that's married or looking to get married, I encourage you to do them kind of talks, man. Check in. This is, like Nip said, this is a marathon. The marathon continues, when we doing life together, man. And it don't end. I talked a couple of episodes about, the finals with Golden State and Toronto. And you saw who had the endurance, who could make the right adjustments and who could still make it. Injuries are part of the game, but who was still standing, So with that being said, man, I got a really good episode queued
J.
up.
Floyd.
So let's get into this episode.
J. Floyd is a husband, father, and follower of Christ. After enduring several tragedies at an early age, he faced depression and anxiety for years. After being led down the path of healing himself, he realized that his purpose is to use his words, his life, and his testimony to help others make similar journeys to healing through God's love. Jay is a Christian self-help author, speaker, and life coach. On this podcast, he will sit down with people you may know through TV or social media, walking in their purpose as they talk about what makes them who they are and simply speak about life. On J. Floyd Speaks Life.
All right. Welcome everybody to another episode of the J. Floyd Speaks Life podcast. This is episode 4, and I got a special guest in the building. Today we have Miss Kelly Parker. She is speaker, blogger, one-day podcaster, right? You gonna do a podcast?
I am.
I know you are.
I think I'm just gonna be on yours.
There you go.
Right. I think this is gonna be good enough.
I like that. The author of the book Ignite, which we're going to talk about, we're going to get into. Minister, movement maker.
Ooh.
You like that?
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that with me. Is
See
that
what
okay?
I'm saying? When the gals gather, I think we can officially consider that a movement. So we're going to talk about a few things, but I just want to welcome you to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
How was getting over here? We are in the Cleveland Heights Library. How was it getting over here? You find it pretty good?
For the most part, we had some hiccups, but I'm here.
I know I'm not usually the best at, being clear about where I'm at, how to get there. So I just wanted to make sure you was good,
Yeah, and I'm directionally,
Are you
it's a
directionally
thing.
challenged?
Yeah. Yeah,
At least you admit it, though.
I have to. You got to, when like this, you have to give a disclaimer. Like I might get lost.
do?
I might be, you got to break it down for me. Like where at in the building are you?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Honesty in assessing yourself. I like that. All right, so we're going to get into some things. What we do here is life. We just try to find out exactly who you are and what made you who you are. All right?
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All
Ready
right.
as I'll ever be.
All right, so let's do this. First off, let me just say, full disclosure that I know your parents.
Okay.
Right? I go to church with them. I worship with them, and they are great.
Thank you.
I love your parents. They're great people, really good people to be around, great smiles, great energy. So I see exactly where you get it from.
Thank you.
I'm sure they're very proud of you, but I wanted to get that out there to shout them out. But let's talk about are you from Cleveland? Where are you from?
I am. I'm from Cleveland Heights.
Cleveland Heights,
Yep.
born and
Graduated from
raised.
Cleveland Heights. Mm-hmm.
Really, the whole time.
Yep.
So it was like, because I lived in Heights for a while, and I know back, I'm probably way, way older than you. Back when I was in there, it was like half black, half Jewish, Orthodox Jewish.
Yeah.
Was it still like that when you was growing up there?
When I was like in elementary school, yeah. But by the time I was at Heights, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was maybe like 70-30 or something like that.
The one thing I noticed about living in Heights is they educate you on Judaism. Like they taught us like in school. I thought that was unique,
Yeah. And you get all the days off. That's what I remember.
You get a ton of days. But remember, they wouldn't give us snow days because we had all of the Jewish holidays off. See, they balanced it out for us. And now kids get snow days, if the wind blows too hard.
True.
Yeah.
And when they got those days off because it was hot, I wasn't here for that. Because I'm like, listen, I had you all summer. Now, we got an agreement. When school is in session, you need to be in school.
You gotta go to school.
Okay, you can't be going to school for a week and then you off again. I had a problem with that.
They said it's because I don't even know. I was gonna try to make something up for them, but I can't because I went and I didn't always go to like suburban schools, so I went to some hood schools, and we didn't have the beginnings of air conditioning, so I don't even understand getting a hot day off. Like, that doesn't make it
right.
You're supposed to be sweating in school. That's just what happened. Make you learn better.
Right.
So Cleveland Heights the whole way.
Yeah.
How did you like it there?
I liked it. It was kind of like all that I knew, so I didn't think too much of it. I remember being in 12th grade and being ready to get out of high school and being like,
you
tired
were done
of the
with
song
it at
and
that
dance.
point.
Yeah, but I liked it. I made a lot of friends and all that. So overall, I didn't have too many complaints.
Now, when I did go to Heights, we got a little bit of a bad rap.
Wait, so you went to Heights?
I did. I graduated from Heights.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to Monticello and I went to Heights.
Oh.
So from 6th grade up, 5th grade up, I was all Heights.
See, I went to Wiley.
What were y'all, the Wiley Warriors?
Yeah.
We used to call y'all the Wiley Coyotes.
No.
She's like, no, that's not it at all. No, not even close. So we are middle school mortal enemies, but it's all good.
But my husband went to Roxborough, so it's okay.
We got the whole thing.
It's okay. We can still, be on speaking terms. We can work through it.
We can.
Yeah.
I think we can.
Yeah.
We still got the heist thing.
Right.
We still Tigers.
Right.
So tell me about when you were in there, because the one thing that I always heard or people knock me about is the fact that we were so cliquish.
Oh, yeah.
Was it clicked up when you were there too?
Probably so, but I'm the kind of person, like, I'm here to do what I'm here to do, and I'm here to do it, and that's what I'm doing. And so whatever else is going on, I don't even hardly pay it any attention.
So you ain't even fall into the heist cliques.
No, like, I'm here to do what I'm doing. That's,
So,
I've always been like that.
So let me envision this, right? 6th grade, Kelly is organizing women's movements and staying out of the cliques, right? Not in the
6th grade.
You wasn't outspoken like that?
No.
So what? So tell me this. 6th grade Kelly, what is she like?
Quiet and handling business. That's it.
Really? No
That's
games? Ain't there for no games?
No. Now, if I know you or if it's a small group of people, then I'm more comfortable and, more of my personality might come out or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I am just here to do what I need to do.
Even back then, middle school, Wiley.
Absolutely.
Straight A's?
Yeah. Well, I used to get like A's and a B.
Okay.
That was my MO.
What was that B usually in?
Gym.
Really?
We had this teacher, and if you forgot your gym clothes one time, then you would get a B.
Wow.
Facts.
One time. You're done. 0 tolerance policy.
Yep.
That's kind of draconian. Y'all can look that word up. That's the triple word score today. That's a bit much, man. One time. That's
all it took. So.
Okay. All right. So in the house, siblings?
Nope.
Only child.
This is it.
All about her business.
That's all I know. That's all I know. So get it done.
What about at the house? Parents, were they strict? Because I know them now.
Right.
I can't imagine it, but I don't know. You never know.
I guess that's a funny question, because when you have somebody that has something in them that is always trying to like keep the rules, I don't know if they were quote unquote strict. However, you already knew what the deal was. You already knew not to press the envelope. Like it was already understood. Like.
So you had your own internal barometer on where to go, what not to do.
But I also knew that was confirmed through, they outlook on life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I don't feel like they had to do a whole lot to keep me within the confines at the same time, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think I was like that maybe for about a year or two. I had my wayward times too.
Yeah.
But I think by nature I was probably like that at a young age.
Yeah.
So only child. Did you feel like affirmed and encouraged at that age? Did you feel like you had the room to be whoever Kelly was at that age? Or did you keep it in the box?
Well, I feel like growing up, I was very much consumed with what I should be doing, what you're supposed to do. And so that's what I was trying to manifest, is what I should be and what I'm supposed to be doing. Wow. And you can't disappoint anybody, because then what? Like feeling like your identity is literally in the mouths and in the heads of other people. So, yeah, so it took me some time to unpack that. And I'm still unpacking that, to be honest with you.
Do you think that's more who you are, the drive in you, or do you think that was from your environment?
I feel like most of it was who I was, Yeah, I feel like a good part of it was who I was. I remember this one conversation I had with my mother when I was like I was a kid. I was like maybe like 7 or 8. Like not even old enough to get A, B, C, D grades. I still got the S's and the plus, right? And I asked her, so what would you do if I brought C's home? Now, I don't know what I knew about C's or whatever.
But you was already thinking about it.
Right, and why am I even asking her that?
Yeah.
And she was like, I mean, if you try your best, I mean, do you? And I remember thinking at however old I was, 7 years old, oh, she's never going to have to worry about that. I'm not bringing any C's home.
Wow.
So
that was internal.
Yeah.
Because she affirmed that it would still be all good.
Right. And I was like, yeah, but no, we're not doing that. And so, yeah.
I wonder, have you given a lot of thought of where that came from? Like what visually gave you that, man, if I get a C, it's going to be something bad?
I don't know. It does make me kind of think about the thought of really feeling like it's your identity to be this type of person. It's your identity to get everything right. It's your identity to always make the mark. So if you don't do that, then who are you? I think, we all have that in us. We're looking for either approval or acceptance or significance or, to feel like you matter or to feel like you mean something, and so I think it was some of that. And then just, I don't know, it was just something in me. Like, if you're going to do it, be the best.
Wow.
And, it was pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
But,
touch on that a little bit. What do you think are the pros and cons of that?
Well, I think that, a pro of it is being able to work hard or being able to stay focused on something for a sustained period of time until you reach a result, know. But I think the kind of
that is very results driven.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's important to execute, not try to do. Yeah. If that makes sense. You know, like I tried. Okay, but did you do it or not?
So you know what I mean? You're one of those people. There is no try. You either do it or you don't.
Oh, that sounds rough. But in a way, yeah. But at the same time, to your point about the con, I think you could take it to the extreme, like as in, you are your performance. So if you don't perform, you're nothing. Or you're, if no one's praising you, then who are you? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the search for your identity, I think, you have to hold that in tension, and in balance, I think.
I think that's a really good point, and that's a good word for it, to hold it in tension. That's interesting. Never thought about that. So we're getting past Wiley, and then you get to a real school at Heights. You get to Heights. So you get to Heights. You popular?
No, sir. Mm-mm.
So, well, what would you call it?
I am focused. Like, I wish some of the people that knew me at Heights were here right now to chime in. But no, definitely not popular because I was very quiet. And I'm telling you, I'm just here to do what I'm here to do. Yeah. And I'm not thinking about what anybody else is doing. That ain't even part of what I'm thinking about.
Even in high school?
No.
All 4 years. Did you participate in some activities and sports or whatnot?
Sports, let's see. Well, not at Heights. I remember running track in the 8th grade. I remember I was in some other like clubs and stuff, but I didn't do any sports. Why are you laughing?
The way you look about it, you're like, oh, those are some little clubs or something, but I was focused. Can't have them distractions.
No, I did have a few little clubs. I was on a newspaper.
Look at that. What'd you do on the newspaper?
I wrote the articles.
Like, I mean, was it like a specific one? Did you do
lots.
Oh, you wrote a ton of stuff. See, now we talking now. Okay. I like that. Because, some people do like a comic strip, or they do like the sports, or they do the, what is it? the op-ed where you just talk about what you don't like about the school?
Yeah. No, most of mine were like feature stories, like not like straight news articles, but kind of like human interest stuff. So I did that.
So you were pretty serious.
Yeah, I've always been serious. That's a good word. Yeah. Serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing special interest pieces in high school. I mean, that's, you know what? And I will say this. I think that only seems extremely serious. Like, right? Isn't that like throughout most of all cultures? That's like regular stuff, right? If you got an interest in writing, you get on a newspaper staff and you write some special interest pieces. Nothing wrong with that. You go into journalism or whatever you're going to do, you know?
But, so like I said, for those that I'm comfortable with, and they'll see more of my, more silly side or whatever, but most people are not going to see that, at least not in that point in my life,
Okay. So you were still protecting that side.
Yeah, but not even like consciously. It's just like I'm staying focused, and if I feel comfortable, then it will come out more. But if not, it just won't. So yeah, I guess you're right.
It didn't have its muscles. That side of you didn't have muscle yet, so it didn't come out a lot. The other side, the serious side, was good. It was strong.
Yeah. Yep. True.
So here's another one, right? You start going through high school. High school's great. 4 years, you knock it out. We talking about 4.0s? We talking about what kind of achievement we got? We talking about here?
Well, so when you take like honors classes, like AP or advanced placement, they weight your GPA.
Oh yeah.
See,
I know where you're going with this one. So how far above a 4.0 did you go? It's the question.
What's your next question? No, I'm just playing. So I remember having like a 4.3. I can remember that.
Wow.
But here's what I was telling someone the other day. Well, this is why. Because my friend's daughter is very much, when I look at her, I see myself when I was a kid. In a way. Just in regard to like performance in school and stuff like that. That's probably the only way. But I was thinking to myself, I wish that I could go back and tell myself at that age, girl, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You're not buying yourself this larger than life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
seriously.
of a grade, so yeah. I've been like revisiting that recently.
What would you, I'm going to add that to my list of podcast questions. What would you go back and tell yourself if you could meet your younger self,
But can I
No,
say
you go
something?
right ahead.
Okay, so here's the reason why I was thinking about it. So that was me at 12, 13, 14, whatever. So now at the age that I am now, I'm not in school, but the way that it manifests is, okay, so now I got 3 kids, I got a husband, I got all these things at home I'm supposed to be doing. So if I rest, then I feel kind of guilty, or I feel like, why aren't you doing anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had someone posed the question, well, why can't you tell the resting woman what you would have told the little girl?
Ooh. How'd you feel about that?
I was like, because it's easy when you're not in a situation, like I'm out of school, it's easy to say, girl, don't worry about it. That's easy. But when it's in the life that you're living, to really believe like you are not defined by your output, you are not defined by your performance.
Wow.
That's not you,
So is that your cross?
One.
That's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a constant growth against it, right?
Right. And I find it interesting. A lot of times you feel like, man, I thought I worked through that, or I thought I was past that, or I didn't think that was a thing for me anymore. And then you see like, it's levels. It's like an onion,
Yeah.
So.
I like to look at it like, especially when you start achieving, you know what I mean? Like you get to the level that you are and you start movements and you start these groups, and then it manifest itself. And when it does, it's going to be bigger because you're bigger, right? It's almost like an athlete going from high school to the college level or to the pros. Well, those same moves don't work no more.
Right.
You got to get in the gym and get some new moves because the enemy come with that drop step on you that you ain't practiced for yet. You know? So yeah, I think that's really pertinent, man. That it's always a constant, a constant growth. It's not like we conquer it completely. We constantly ask God to help me deal with it at this level. Help me deal with it at that level.
I just had a thought. My cross is the question, am I good enough? That's what it is. And so I think it continues to play out in different ways. Like, okay, I'm going to get these grades and then I'm going to feel good enough. I'm going to do this and then I'm going to feel good. Oh, if I can, wash all the clothes and do this and whatever it is, then I'm going to feel good enough. So I think that's the thing. One of my things,
So the finish line is always moved.
Right.
Because it's not really a race to begin with, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful stuff. And I think there's a lot of people that'll be able to relate to that. Because come on, how many of us are going through a version of that right there? It's always something. Even people who are highly achieving, it's like we still focused on the next thing because this one's still not going to be good enough.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. And it's like they always say, none of it will ever be good enough until God is just good enough, right? So we gotta. Right. That's the hardest. That's the hardest thing. And ain't that a little bit of all of our crosses, man? That's yeah. Yeah. Now that you say that, it's like I'm looking at my own life, like, yep. That's a tough one.
Yep.
So let me ask you this: did you go straight into college? You took that 4.3.
I did.
Where'd you roll into with that?
I took my talents to Kent State University.
Okay, I'm pretty sure they was very happy about that. They was like, bring that 4.3 here. We'll take it. And what did you major in?
I majored in public relations, which there's in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication. So I majored in that and studied marketing.
So the whole newspaper thing made sense a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
How'd you like Kent State?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I struggled in the beginning.
Because you didn't know how to party? Is that what it was? Because, Kent State is known as a partying school.
That wasn't it. I think it was, what was it? Just feeling, here's another one of my things. You trying to go deep, huh?
Oh, that's what we do.
We going deep.
That's what we do.
I think another one of my things is like belonging.
Ooh.
Like I don't belong. Because I remember feeling like in certain regards, like that first year, like I don't belong. Or even going into the second year a little bit, like trying to get my bearings. Like, where do I fit, so to speak?
Now, how did that manifest? Was it like, I'm not good enough to be here? Or I don't know where I'm supposed to be here?
Probably the second. I don't know where I'm supposed to be here. And I wouldn't call it a homesick. It's just like trying to make a new home away from home. Just trying to put together all the pieces, you know.
Well, had you ever really been away from Heights?
No.
Yeah. That's serious. Yeah. That's very, and they say Heights is like it's a unique place.
Yeah.
It's a very unique place. You can get nestled in there. So you go off to Kent and it was like, what is this? It
was good. It just took me a while to find my way because I think I was in transition. So when I lived at home and when I was in high school, I was raised in church, and there was no question. Like, I don't care what you did Saturday night. I don't care what time you got home. You're going to church on Sunday. We're going to go to whatever youth Bible study there is. Like, you are doing all of the things. It's not up for discussion, okay?
There is no option.
Right. So I remember when I went to Kenton and I would come home sometimes on the weekend, and I'd be like, man, my dad didn't wake me up for church. Why didn't he wake me up for church? I'm like, that's something. And I realized, I think he got to the point like, you're going to have to figure this out on your own.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is that you're going to do. So I remember going off to Kent, and me and my roommate were both like raised in church, and she went to Heights too. And so I remember we had learned about this campus ministry. They used to have Bible study every week. So we're like, we church girls, we do church things. Let's go to this Bible study. This is things that we do. So I remember doing that. And, whatever, that's fine. So then there was this one lady there leading it, and she was saying, well, we're going to start a women's Bible study. And would you like to come? And we want to do it in your dorm, in your common area, in your dorm. And I'm thinking, it don't take all of that. Like, I'm already coming here once a week. Like, why are you trying to... You doing a lot. You know what I mean? You're talking about, you want me to be out in public with my Bible, reading it. I don't know if I want to do, you extreme. I'm not trying to be extreme. You know what I mean?
I'm pushing you.
Right. I'm trying to check my box. Like I do Christian things. Right. So I'm like, okay, fine. I don't want to tell her no. So she got us out in public. She's talking about turn to Galatians 5. And it's people passing. And I'm like,
so where you talking about in the common area?
Yeah.
In the
and she's talking about Bible. Why we got to do it here? And so I'm like, all right, fine, we'll do it. So I remember just feeling so embarrassed and so like, why do we have to do the most? Like, why can't we just...
Why do we have to do the most?
Why can't we just do a little something and go on about our day? Yeah. So I had that going on. So at the time, I was dating this guy that I was dating in high school, except he went to Howard. So he's in D.C., I'm in Ohio. And we are kind of going, well, let me go back. I remember starting off in this women's Bible study, not really feeling it. And then I remember turning this corner to where I loved it and I couldn't get enough. And so like, I'm like studying it on my own. I'm like calling my dad at home, like, listen to what I just read in Acts 10. Like, listen to this. So I remember turning this corner, and I remember laying in bed one night. I remember asking the Lord, if it's anything in my life that's keeping me from you, would you just take it away from me? And so anyway, I had this boyfriend or whatever we're doing, and it just fell apart, summarizing. And that is when I feel like my life started.
Wow.
In a way. Because it was removed. It really was removed, And so, yeah, that first year away from home, all of that was happening. So I was like really in this transition of being a child to really coming into whatever it is that I'm going to be,
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
it was so good, though.
It's liberating.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
You don't know what the next step is, but you're out there like, I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. So overall, college, good experience?
Mm-hmm.
Dean's List? Don't be smiling.
Okay, so let me tell you what happened to me in college. So I told you in high school I used to get all A's and a B. So my first semester at Kent, I ended up getting all A's with no B.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. So then my second semester, I ended up getting all A's and no B.
Okay.
And then my third semester, I ended up getting all A's and no B. And then my fourth semester, I ended up getting all A's and no B.
So the B is done.
So going back to what I was saying, after a while, I started to feel like in my mind, like, you can't get a B. Because if you get a B, who are you?
So you had a 4.3 in high school, and then you got to college and raised the bar further.
Yeah.
Now a B, what would you have felt like if a B hit you?
I kind of wish that I would have, just to know, like, life will continue. Like, nothing is going to change.
Lo and behold, you woke up.
And no one cared anyway. You know what I mean? Like, who was seeing my report? I mean, none of it made any sense. But in my mind, like, it was everything. Like, this is you. Yeah. And if you can't do this, then who are you?
Did that continue all the way?
It did.
Wow. So what? Did you go forward or did you go back for grad?
I didn't. I just did my bachelor, and I came out. So I got married 3 months after I graduated.
You know, it's almost like you're reading my mind, because the very next question says, tell me about your marriage.
Tell me about your marriage.
Yeah. What's up?
What
with
a
that?
question.
I had a feeling that came right there next.
What a question. Yeah. So I first met my husband at Heights. Actually, we had a class together, and I remember him being very nice. That's kind of all that I remember. Mm-hmm. And we kind of connected again because we had a mutual friend that we didn't realize that we had. So, okay, this year we'll be married 14 years.
Nice. First of all, congrats on that.
Oh, thank you.
Hats off and salute. I love that, to hear about longevity. That's good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like at this stage in the game, what I am learning is what it means to support, what it means to encourage, what it means to not necessarily do what's convenient for me, but what is actually of a service to you. I'm learning what grace is.
That's a big one right there.
Because in my brain, it's like, well, this is what I think, and how come you're not on the same page with what I'm thinking? Yeah. I just told you what we need to do. So what, and learning, how to come together and not feel like I have all the answers and you need to catch up. And, and I feel like, just learning from all the pits that I stepped in and didn't know.
Yeah. One of the things I always talk about, especially with my life coaching clients, giving in marriage, giving each other enough room to be human. Because, people make mistakes, man. And, we are not God. We do not hold the key to their judgment. You know what I mean? And it's okay if they do something their way. I think a lot of times we'll say, it's just their way of doing it. It's still going to be good. No, they very well could be making a mistake. But sometimes you got to make that.
Right.
And they don't need you over their shoulder trying to make sure, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I think sometimes love is saying, hey, babe, don't do that. That might be it. But love also is, I can't just I can't tell you what to do. You got to feel it.
Right.
You got to experience it, because then in the end, I might be wrong. Or we're both wrong. And God wants us to live through this to see what the right thing to do is.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, that's the biggest thing I always talk about with, especially when it comes to longevity, that room to be human, man. Look at all the room God gives us to be human. We deserve that from each other too, And I don't know. That's just my tiny soapbox for it.
No, that was good. I'm thinking of what's coming in my mind is like unconditional acceptance.
Yeah.
And I think that's what my heart needed to feel and see and hear when I was a kid, all the way till now. And I think that's really what you need for a healthy marriage, But what I found myself doing is like putting on him what I had put on myself, Or it's like I don't tolerate anything but perfect from myself.
And now you in this with me.
Right.
Hop on in, bruh.
Yeah. So
that's
learning
good, man.
How to accept, like, I'm not God. Like you just said, I ain't God and neither are you, Yeah. And the freedom that comes from that, just accepting somebody as they are, not as you expect them to be.
How does you guys have ministries? You both have ministries. How does that work? Do you find that? Because for me, I always think about that when I meet people like that, and I'm like, man, that must bring a ton of new information and God's word and presence into their lives, man. But I'm pretty sure it brings its own challenges too. But I'm always overwhelmed by like how much word must be there, because there's couples out there that never read the word. And then you got people who are in their ministries digging through the word. That's got to be good, It's got to bring some of it.
Yeah. True enough. It definitely, it's a blessing to know that that's how our household is being run. There's never any question about what we're going to use to, govern what we're doing. At the same time, there's just a lot of moving parts, so being able to prioritize what's the most important,
That's huge. So tell me your love story. What's up? Tell me how y'all got together. What is it?
I'll have to send you our love story. Did you know it's on video?
Are you serious?
You really didn't know that?
I did not know this. I did not know this.
Okay, so we have...
So now I got 2 stories to ask you about.
Right.
What's up?
This is what I do, because I've been meaning to do this. I will put it on my YouTube page, and then you can get a kick out of it from,
I definitely
15
will.
years ago. But no, our story is... Okay. I'm trying to think how I want to say this. So we were committed to abstinence during our relationship. So we did not kiss each other until we were married.
Wow. Okay.
So that's our quote unquote story. So that's the video is all about and blah, blah, blah. But now that I have 14 years
you're
under
a veteran.
my belt.
Yeah. War-torn veteran.
Let me add to the story. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we take just the base requirements and we make them seem like a really big deal. Like, if you honor God, whoa, we gonna put you on this pedestal and you about to have this perfect life. To make it seem like it's more than it is, if that makes sense. Like to do whatever God tells you to do, it's your reasonable service. Like it's what you were already supposed to do. It's what you're already supposed to do. So I say that, and then I also say we are all striving for purity, but we all fall short in certain ways. Like there's no such thing as like this pure person because you were a quote unquote virgin and look, she pure. Like I don't like that either, if that makes sense, right? Because we have things in our mind. You don't just arrive like unscathed by anything, as if you're you have reached this higher level than someone else. It's something that we are all striving toward. It's something that we are all striving toward. So. Anyway, so that's like our on that end. But anyway, we met at Heights. We re-met going on a trip to DC. We were going on a road trip with a mutual friend. And then I knew one of his friends, and I was saying hi to him on, I think it was it was like this message where people would put poetry. Right. And I saw that his friend was on there, and he was like, yeah, Laverta's always talking about you, and I think you should call him or something. And this was like months later. Yeah. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not doing that. And then he said it again. So I'm like, okay, I will. And I did. So I emailed him one day, and then we, we just kind of started talking, and we've been together ever since.
Wow. And that part is not video recorded and televised, right? All of that part, right?
No, it's more about like
poetry
I said,
board. Poetry can bring people together, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, poetry is a key part of me and my wife's love story. But it can happen. So what was it wasn't Black Planet or nothing, was it? It wasn't one of them old school boards.
No. So the ministry that I was a part of was called the Impact Movement.
Okay.
And they had, as part of their website, they had some sort of message board on there, and he was putting.
So this is legit.
Yeah.
Poetry.
No,
good stuff.
My husband wasn't writing poetry. It was one of his friends, and I just commented.
You had commented, and he saw it, and that was the connection made.
Yeah.
You need that connection, man. That's vital. So now here we are, 14 years in. Children?
3 children.
3 children. 2 girls and a boy.
That's right.
Boys in the middle. All right. How you feel?
How does he feel?
How do y'all feel? How do we feel? 3 kids. I got 3 kids
tired.
too, so I know. Yeah, that was the first word I was going to help you with.
Yeah, we feel tired.
Yeah.
And yeah, just trying to keep everything going.
Yeah.
That's the feeling of it.
So how is that with, you've been successful in speaking your truth and finding your purpose and helping other women find their purpose. Mm-hmm. What would you say to somebody who wants to do that, but they're like, I don't have time. I got kids. I don't have time to go do that. What would you say to them?
That's what I tell them. So some years ago, I used to work full-time in corporate America, and I remember maybe doing probably my first event or maybe my first 2 events. And I remember thinking, I work, I got these kids. Like, maybe I don't really have time for that. Like, maybe at some other time I get to it or whatever, but I just got a lot going on. And I remember this lady calling me kind of out of the blue. And she was like, look, when is the next event? Because I don't want you to miss what God is doing. And so that's what I would say. Don't miss what God is doing. Setting your own priorities, doing your own thing. We go a lot further, a lot faster, asking the Father what does he want us to do, and then doing it.
I love it. I completely agree. And y'all heard that fire coming. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
See, yeah. No, don't try to tone it back down now. You got. We were laughing before we got started about, I don't know. Y'all should go out and check out Kelly Parker's her speeches online, man. She got the fire. Straight fire, y'all. It's like drop the mic type fire. You know what I mean? She's like calm now, but no. She got the fire. She got the Holy Spirit in her, man. That's what's up, man. So tell me how the gathering came about. What made you just be like, man, I'm about to bring women together? And how many gathered the first time?
So this is how it all started. So I was at church one day, and one of the ladies, well, 2 of the ladies. So our church, we call our more experienced ladies, we call them seasoned, and they hate it. More
experienced ladies.
But,
first of all, wait a minute. I can't even get to the seasoned part because you said the more experienced ladies. That is one of the best euphemisms I've ever heard.
It's true. They got wisdom and experience.
That is so, right? I'm using that. I hope that is not copywritten.
Right. So this is what they said, right? They said, we want to get the ladies together. Will you speak? So I said, okay. And that turned into planning it and making it all happen. Okay. So
they meant the big version of the word speak.
Right.
Not just say stuff.
But it's all good because I feel like somehow, I guess that was the Lord aligning me with what he had me to do. So the first time we gathered, we had 30 ladies in this building.
That's good.
In the library conference room. I mean, not this room, but the library conference room. Yep. We had about 30 ladies. Yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time. We had a couple of ladies like share testimony, and I spoke, and we had poetry actually. We had someone bring some poetry, and it didn't have a name. We didn't know what it was, and so I just said, well, it's the gathering. I just said it. I don't know.
Wow.
It's just the gathering. And that's where we started.
And when was this?
This was, I believe it was 2013.
Wow. And now, what'd you have at your last one? 50,000? What'd you get?
No.
I'm speaking that into existence for you, though.
Come on.
I'm speaking that for you.
Listen, we're going to the queue. You understand what I'm saying?
It's coming for real.
So our last event, we had 300 ladies.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
That is so dope.
Yeah, so we had fun.
And it's not just you had 300, like, activated, engaged, transformational. That's what I'm talking about. Like, people really came away moved. They didn't just go to an event. That's what I love about it. And that's what made me be like, man, I got to get this lady on my show because what she's doing is letting the Holy Spirit unleash on these people, man, and people's lives are being transformed. And to me, that's what I love. I'm all about speaking life and what can we do in our purpose to try to help people get to another phase with God, man, you know. And I love what y'all are doing. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Now tell me, and this one is near and dear to my heart, being being an author as well. Tell me about Ignite, man.
Ignite. So I feel like a question that's often put on the table is, I want to have this relationship with God that's better and bigger and better, and I want to be closer to the Lord and all of the above. And I feel like, you know, as it relates to being on quote unquote fire for God, it's not going to come and hit you upside the head. I think there's some specific things that we can do to really grab hold of the relationship with God that we want. And so that's what Ignite is all about. And so we use the imagery of fire to illustrate that, right? So fire destroys. And if you really want to go to the next level with God, you're going to have to let him destroy some things out of you because he wants you looking like him, right? Fire purifies, right? The heat, it takes out the impurities, and sometimes we go through difficulties that we have to allow to draw us closer to Christ to purify us. And also fire is light, and we are that's part of our identity, that we are the light of the world. And as we take that on, as we do those things, you will have that walk with Christ as vibrant and living and active that you've been looking for. I feel like it's within our reach, but we have to reach out and grab it. Like, you know, God is an initiator, and he's already done that, right? And so it's up to us to respond to him.
Wow.
We can have as much of him as we want.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's
exciting.
Big.
It's a quick read. You know, I feel like whatever level spiritually that you're at, you can walk away with some really good nuggets. So
that's big. So how's it been doing? You been getting good feedback on it?
Yeah.
I saw you 5-star rated on Amazon. I did see that.
Right. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Getting there.
So when's that next one coming?
Come on now.
You know I gotta see this.
Come on.
This is what people do to me all the time. So I feel good being able to turn that back around. When the next one coming? What's up?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I have some other things I've been working on, so I'm not sure like what priority point that's gonna be. But I definitely got some ideas.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Don't, you know, as a great woman once said, don't miss what the Lord is gonna do through you in this next book. What? So tell me this. What, now that you've made the journey, organizer, speaker, blogger, author, what do you wish you had known when you first started out?
I would say,
because you said 2013 was the first gathering, so this is a good 6-7 year run.
Yeah, I would say, I feel like one of the big ones for me was stop being consumed with what everybody thinks. And that's just one of my big life things I'm trying to work through. Because I think about all the time that I have wasted thinking about that when it didn't matter, or imagining things that just didn't matter, you know, was not relevant to the task at hand, you know. And I feel like I would tell myself, be more confident in what the Lord has put in you and what he's called you to do, and stop. Like, if I could just bottle up all the time and all the energy, even my kids, they have to pump me up. Like, Mom, ladies came to the last one. Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to come.
That encouragement.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, just all the time that I take, like spinning my wheels and. Yeah.
I think that comes naturally in being that type of person who would be a vessel for that message. You know, that's part of it, you know, and that's a natural way that the enemy knows that he can get at us. You know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You said the enemy. So I was just thinking about how, like, we have to start to understand we are accountable for our thoughts. And we choose what we think about, and stop just letting the enemy come in and do the same old 1-2 punch over and over, So yeah, when you said that, it reminded me of that. Like, me going through over and over in some of the things that I struggle with. Like, if you know that, like, yes. Stop allowing him to have this area, like we have tools to fight.
Tools. I think that's a really good point, and we can utilize all of those tools. What I try to do every season, I try to identify some weak areas I have and put some what I call guardrails. It's like, all right, I know if I keep stumbling right here, this next season, let me put this right there because I know that's a weak point. Let me stop falling on that same weak point, and overall, just keep doing it. Like you said, you never arrive. But if you know you're struggling with something, you just start utilizing the tools that you have around you, starting with the Word of God, and, just build yourself up in those weak areas.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. So one last question, and this is my favorite question, actually. What are you curious about right now? What does God put on your heart to ponder currently?
Well, so I'm in the season of doing a lot of, I don't know if self-reflection is the right word, but getting understanding on why I've been struggling with certain things in a way that I think is going to be really helpful for me. So, it has to be about God?
Doesn't have to be.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was thinking was just the idea that it's okay to do uncomfortable things. Because I realize that the theme in my life is that I will avoid things that I think are uncomfortable, or I will conjure all the reasons why I could be uncomfortable and talk myself out of it to the point where it can be debilitating, if that makes sense. And so I've just been thinking on that because it does relate to God. Here we go. So,
you knew it would. I was confident. I was waiting.
So because it's almost like when I don't want to be uncomfortable, it's because I want to be in control. And
I sit in God's seat.
Right. That's not faith. I just want to be in control. I want to be where it's okay with me and I know what's going on. Whereas I think he's trying to teach me to navigate past that to where you can trust me, where I can instruct you to do whatever and you're not going to be pausing because it's not comfortable and it's not this and that. It's just, you just follow me. Like if I tell you to get out of the boat and just walk on the water, you're just going to do it. If I tell you to pack up and just leave and go where I'm going to show you, that you'll do, like whatever, So, just thinking on that.
That's a good point to be pondering on, because that's all about growth. And that shows that you are at a certain point in your life where you're, obedience leads you into new areas of growth, and you have been obedient, so now it's time to start, the Holy Spirit going to be like, all right, good looking. You did that. Now let's work on this thing right here. Let's sharpen you up right there, because I got this next step for you. You know what I mean? And, just getting you in shape. It's like a personal trainer, getting you in shape, because that next step going to be a doozy. We just talked about the 50,000 people. All of those things going to be a doozy,
Yeah, the pruning. That's what I'm thinking of while you were saying that. Yeah. So the pain, but also the growth. Because here's the thing, and I've been finding myself talking about this like ad nauseum recently, but it just keeps coming to my mind. So I know the Spirit is putting it there. All blessings don't feel good. God didn't say, I will love you by giving you ice cream and a mani-pedi and pillows and letting you kick your feet up. That's not the way God loved us. So that's not love. Love looks like, let me challenge you. When I met my wife, one of the ways I knew she was the one, she challenged me. She didn't make it easy. I had to step up and be a better person. It's like,
God will love us by these challenges that's out of our comfort zone. And then when we grow to it, he like, see how much I loved you? See this place I had for you? And now you there. Now get ready for the next one.
Yeah.
You know, I think way too many times we be like, man, I hope God bless me with this $1 million or, you know, this everything I'm trying to do succeeding. That ain't what blessings look like sometimes. You know what I mean? So they look like a little bit of everything. Whatever we need to rely on God more and get us closer to him is a blessing.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. That's just what I've been pondering on.
Yeah.
You know, recently, and it's just been like occupying like my every day. I'm talking about it. You know, but I think it's because of the space that I'm in. I hear so many people believing that this next phase of their life is going to just be God giving them everything they want, and it's like that's just not the way it works. You know, God's going to give us everything that we need, and we ain't gonna like about 90% of it.
Right.
That's just how we are, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, you know, so how, you know, you said this was your first podcast you've been on.
It was.
How did you like it?
I liked it.
You stepped out of your comfort zone?
Well, I did. Well, see, yes and no.
Yes, and it's not really out of your comfort zone.
No.
You do this.
Sort of. So it is a little bit, but also I figured once we get going, I would be able to make it.
I knew. But see, there was no stage and no audience.
But
to
I
get
do
that
okay
fire
one-on-one.
out.
Right. Yeah. True. But I do good one-on-one and I do okay on the stage.
See? So I just had to, you know, make you see that it was just one-on-one. Ignore the thousands of people that'll be listening to the recording later. and just roll.
Right.
So you
go.
feel good about that? Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about, that you want to get out there? You feel good?
I feel like we covered it.
I think that was a good one. I like that. I
Good,
think it was
good,
good.
good.
So again, thank you so much, Kelly Parker, for coming out. Y'all should go on Amazon and everywhere that you can get books and check out her Ignite book. You should also check out her The Gathering. Was that quarterly or bi-year? Is it biannually?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is? Biannual or semi-annual? I can't get my vocab.
I've been calling it biannual, but it's twice a year. So the next one will be coming up on October 12th, and it's going to be on the west side at Scranton Road Bible Church.
Look at that.
So definitely want to mark your calendars for that. And you can go to WhenTheGalsGather.com for more information, and make sure to follow us on Facebook and on Instagram and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. And listen to this one over and over and share it with all your people and let them know who Kelly Parker is so they can check her out and know exactly what made her who she is and why she does what she does. All right. So thank y'all again for joining us on J. Floyd Speaks Life. Please join me again. And as always, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Take care.